If you want to turn your power tower into an RG beast and you care not for your wallet's well-being, you should check out my NZXT Hue Plus and Corsair Lighting Node Pro video up here. If you're not quite ready to blow your wallet up, stick around and we'll take the AMZtronics RGB fans for a spin. For $40 on Amazon, you'll find the three 120mm fans optimized for airflow featuring rubber dampeners to prevent vibration noises and 59cm long cables. And also this crazy looking controller hub thing that does have an adhesive back for easy mounting. The hub is about 80mm wide, 30mm tall, and 10mm thick, and supports up to 8 fans and 2 4-pin LED strips powered via Molex. The fans can only be connected to the hub through their 6-pin cables, which means no motherboard fan curves for you. If you're willing to do some cable splitting, 4 of the pins are for LED control and the remaining 2 are for fan speed. This means you'll be able to split the cable and sync these to some of your other RGB effects. Using their hydro bearings pushing about 33 CFM at around 23.5 decibels, with 2 speed settings, the highest of which is 1300 RPM, and are rated for about 20,000 hours of operating time. But we'll see if they're loud enough to suck. Sitting 2 to 3 feet away, the fans are definitely audible, but they're not loud enough to be distracting in my opinion. Though, loud is a subjective term, and you may just think I'm full of hot air. Speaking of hot air, let's quickly gloss over performance. Using the Mean at 5 PM case, you can check out in the card up top, the AMD FX8350 processor clocked to 4.6 GHz at 1.35 volts, cooled by the Fantex PHTC14PE air cooler in an ambient temperature of 22.8 degrees Celsius. Setting 3 of these as a front intake during an hour-long stress test on the CPU and GPU gives us average temperatures of 57.6 and 74 degrees Celsius respectively. While they don't seem to perform as well as their more expensive RGB buddies, keep in mind they're also a fraction of the cost. Additionally, in most situations, I wouldn't recommend using these as front intakes. We'll get back to that in a second. And now for the part you've all been waiting for. Hit the lights. Your fans can output several static colors including red, green, blue, purple, light blue, light green, and white. And 3 effects, one that jumps from one color to the next, another that fades between the colors, and at last a breathing effect that cycles through the spectrum. And if you're feeling particularly dull on any given day, you can choose to turn them off. Regarding fan control, the RPM is toggled via the button on the controller. This is a good segue into the more turbulent aspects of these fans. The speed adjustment being on the controller means you'll most likely have to open your case to access it. My second gripe is in regards to the grips. The rubber dampeners are white, which isn't really a problem, and probably isn't to you, but I personally find it to be a little bit distracting. Black would have been a better choice in my opinion. And lastly, these fans are plagued by the same issue as the NZXT Air RGBs. The light ring is only visible from the front, and that's why setting these as a front intake might not be so cool. Unless of course the respective panel is clear. The last thing I'd like to mention isn't necessarily a problem, but it could be. The fan lighting is controlled by your case's reset switch. That means you won't be able to use the reset button on your chassis. Some cases, like the Enthoo Evolve Tempered Glass Edition, don't even have a reset button, so you'll want to check for that. The implementation is clever in my opinion, because it'll work in most situations, and I haven't actually used a reset button in years, but that may not be the case for you. If this does happen to be a problem though, don't let that stop you. I'll have a link for switches down in the description below. Other than that, these are fairly fantastic fans for a fanciful fee. Some RGB fans can run upwards of $25 to $35 each, whereas 3 of these cost $40. You'll lose out on speed and software control as well as any advanced lighting effects, but if you want something simple or a neat color cycle effect, these fans for this price could really blow you away. So that's all I have to say about that. Links to buy are in the description, and I actually think they're out of stock on Amazon right now. But keep an eye out and hopefully they'll be back soon. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share, leave me questions if you've got them. Thanks for watching. My name is Steven and I am ALittleDIMM. Bye bye. I have messed up this recording so many times so far. The first time, computer crashed, overheated. Second time, computer crashed, overheated. Third time, because the computer overheated, I ramped all of my fans up to 100% in an attempt to keep it cool while I recorded the third run. And by the time I finished the third run, I was really hoping that this wouldn't pick up all of the fan noise, and if it did pick up a little bit, I could like filter it out in post. And I tried, but it distorted my voice enough to bother me. So I went to do it a fourth time, and it didn't record. Because when I was trying to remove the noise, I put a little section in to get the noise sample. You can set it to loop so that it can just get that signal, and for some reason I didn't unloop it. So as it hit that part where it was supposed to sample noise, it just kept looping and recording over the same spot over and over again. So today is not a winning day. The AMD FX8350 processor clocked to 4.6 GHz at 1.35 volts. Setting 3 of these as a front intake during an hour-long stress test on the CPU and GPU gives us a... What happened? While I don't think they're that loud, other people may disagree, and I'm sure many of you would prefer to have your fan curve control. The light ring is only visible from the front. You might have noticed I said 2 pins for fan speed. Well, I just did an eyebrow thing and I don't know why. It wasn't even like to emphasize anything. It was just in the middle of nowhere. While they don't seem to perform as well as their more... I don't know why that was funny. If you want to turn your... I've practiced this so many times so far, you figured I'd get it down by now, but no, not me. The fans are definitely audible, but they're they're not. And now for the part you've all been waiting for. Hit the lights. There are no lights up here. Black would have been a better opinion in my choice. These are fairly fantastic fans for a fanciful fee. Some RGB. Very good. Oh my god. It didn't record. It didn't record the audio. I want to go to bed. It looped in one spot because I was trying to remove noise from the previous recording and I forgot to undo the loop. That's me saying, oh my god, because I just realized. Fuck.